This is a new type of mob farm. It is a spider included mob piston pusher farm, and spiders are annoying to handle, and I needed string, so I decided to find a way to implement them into an ordinary mob farm. So let's see how it works. The mobs get pushed down and just drop to their death currently. I'm gonna add different things to do because I wanted spiders not only for their string but for their spider eyes, and I also wanted to make this an experience farm eventually. So as you can see, spiders are following, they're not getting stuck, which I'm very happy about. This has taken me several times. I had to actually widen it by 2 because spiders were crawling onto other paths. So, let me show you what is required to build each one. So each one of these has logic on 2 sides that control how the mobs get pushed off. So to build this, you need 88 glass or transparent blocks, 332 of an opaque block that isn't redstone powered. That's important because there are pistons in here, and if you power them, it gets messed up if you power them wrong. 44 redstone, 28 string, 24 repeaters, 20 sticky pistons, 16 redstone torches, and 8 tripwire hooks. So this chest has all you need for 1 layer of this. Each layer is 3 blocks tall, like this. For the spawning space, for every spawning space you want, you get 2 because it's 2 across. There's 1 on each side. You need 10 blocks, 2 sticky pistons, 2 redstone, 2 glass, and 4 string. And I don't want monsters spawning all over the place on me. So the supplies you need depends on how long you want it. The maximum length is 32 currently, without having to add any redstone repeaters or double inverted tricks, stuff like that. So take the number you want, somewhere between 2 and 32, subtract 2 from it, and multiply all of these by that number to get how much of each of these you need. And each one looks like this. So this is 1/4 of the spawning space and the logic behind it, because it is this repeated, reflected this way, and then these 2 sides reflected this way to make one whole thing. These are separated into layers so that I can explain it better. And then this is 1 full layer, 3 blocks high. And it works by dropping them and then pushing them out to the side. The push out to the side is important because the 1 block wide mobs would fall and activate this tripwire hook. And as you can hear from just tapping it, it takes a fair amount of time to lose the signal. And so they would activate this one and then drop below where this piston was onto the next pad and just keep dropping 3 blocks at a time, and they would take damage. And I don't want them to take damage because I'm going to use them for different things, and I don't want to have to heal them because that would be a pain. So spiders activate this tripwire, and as you can see, there's no tripwire on this block, on top of this block. That is important. That allows packs to spawn. And it also, if you put string on a block, it connects to it, and that is messed up. That's why I have glass right here, because if I put one of these blocks down there, the tripwire would connect to there and break, and it doesn't make sense why it would break. You feel like it should go into the air, but it doesn't. So glass goes there. So that's what the inside looks like, just stacked up 10 times. And this is how it works. A mob spawns here, and it signals the tripwire as seen by this lever, which then pushes you off the pad. This one represents a spider. There's a delay because a spider has to spawn and touch this outside wire, and mobs will fall through this wire a lot. So I set up a delay of 5 ticks, which represents just how fast one mob falls through it faster than 5 ticks. So I put that into an AND gate so that if this is flicked on and off real quick, this light turns off instantly, but this one turns off 5 ticks later, which makes it so that this is on if this is turned off within 5 ticks, which prevents it from being triggered every time a mob falls down there. This is then inverted, passed to a repeater, which then powers this block, which sends a signal up here. When it powers this block, this piston pushes up, so it's just a quick pulse. This signal is then taken, quick pulse through here, sorry, it was raining, sent through here to this wire. Now these have to be set at 2 and 3, and I will demonstrate why it can't be set at 1 and 2. If I were to flick this, it gets stuck up, and then it doesn't work for the next time I want to use it. Works the first time, they get retracted fine. Second time, they don't get retracted. 2 and 3 fixes this problem. I don't know why. It's, again, something I believe should work fine, but doesn't, since it's a quick pulse through a repeater that's just delaying it for a sec. And it also toggles off this switch, which retracts them all really quick, and then because it was just a quick pulse, turns it back on, and they get pushed back out. So for the single one wide mobs, it works like that. Now, an important thing is that both of these have to be activated, should need to be activated. Like if one's already been powered and say a single mob is stuck here, no more mobs can spawn, no more single mobs that spawn here will get pushed off. And that's bad. But if a spider spawns, it can push them all off. Now it's rare that a single mob gets trapped on it, but it still happens, so it's good to have this safety feature. It is quite often that a spider gets stuck there. A spider spawns with its center in the center of this block, and a quarter of its leg, of its entire body, in this one, and a quarter over here, or half. 0.5, 0.5, 1, that's 2, yeah. So half of it's there and half of it's there. For some reason though, if it does not move and this piston retracts, it will fall. A spider falls, it glitches through a block, it's weird. But it happens. And that's what makes this work. It will fall through. But if it decides to move and moves under this just a little bit more, it will get stuck there and it will trigger this and keep it locked. So having this locking out single spawns is bad. So I made it so it doesn't lock it out. It's just bonus that both can be run without having it get locked out. So this is replicated. So a little bit about why this is here. This space is here so that spiders can spawn in this last corner. I originally had a block right there, and I thought the system was perfect, and then I went in and realized that there was a too high gap right above this on every single one. And of course, it was all, each one had a single mob just sitting on it, not being pushed off. So, removed it, it's all fixed now. These are glass and one away so that spiders can spawn, and also rather than putting it flush against here, I can't put a block up here, and so if I had no block here and it was flush against it, they could just walk over here and spiders could just walk over there. Put a block there, that fixed that problem. Moved it one away so that they don't get any bright ideas to try and jump up here, even though it's flush. I just thought that would be good just in case a spider tries it. Also, I seal this off so it's only one solid thing, one space for the tripwire. Yeah. That's the way this works. So this is the first layer, all put together. 32 pistons, a logic area on both sides, and then this is the logic area. So this spot is the spot that allows spiders to still spawn. If I wanted to fill this in all the way up to the top, no spiders would spawn in this last area. I included this piston, this spawning space, these two, in the logic board because a redstone repeater goes and powers this block, so it's easier to include it in that area. This represents an area where a sticky piston will be pushing up a block from the layer below. So if I had a block there, it would get pushed up and mess up the entire layer. Same thing right here, you'll see those in the third layer. This glass is where the tripwire goes over. I chose glass. You could probably put anything there. It makes it more visible to me that the tripwire hooks are there. And as I kept building this and kept changing it, I had glass there so that nothing would spawn, and then I just sealed it off, so I kept the glass there. This is the piston for the spider. The tripwire hooks for the spider would be there, and this one represents where the single mobs would be. And this is the first layer of every spawning space that you want to build. It's just 3 wide. It's a block, a piston, a block. This is the second layer. The tripwire hook has been placed right there. When it is triggered, it will turn off this one, see if it's been turned off for a certain amount of time, send a signal to there. Well, that's the third layer. It's inverted, picks up the signal here and sends up the piston, and then sends it this way. These are the pistons that have the gaps under them. Bats will spawn in them and they will be annoying as anything. I turned down my sound so that I wouldn't hear them. The pistons will push up. That's why they need a gap under. There'll be a block above it, and if you had 2, it would push up all of the pistons all the way to the top, or just jam if you have more than 15 blocks above it, which is not good. It's just a repeat on the other side, reflected. Here's an overview of it. On this side, this is why I included this piston, because the torch goes and extends into this area for this piston, so I just had it. You could put the piston one over and not have this torch power or anything, but this adds a free spawning space, so I kept it in, which makes it allows it to go up to 32 instead of 30. This is the second layer. It is just a block and a piece of string. And if you're wondering how this is working right now, it's MC edit. It's a flaw. No, it's not a flaw. It's just when I copied it over, I copied one of these, which is powered, which kept those powered, which I think is cool. So this is the overview of how it's all connected, left to right. And then the final one. So at the top, I put glass. You could put half slabs. I just like glass so that you could see, so you can see it better. The insides, the guts of the whole thing. And this is the third layer. So the third layer includes this redstone wire, which pulls the power from this tripwire hook, sends it to a piston, which pushes up this quartz block, And then because it's powered for a second, it powers these and sends a signal through here. Top off those two pistons and add the wire here and the glass there. This was the conundrum right here. It's 3 high here and 2 high here, so where do I include it? I put it in the 2 high because it gets pushed down and is easy to forget if you're thinking of just third block in this area. So I put it over there, even though it's 3 high. I'm sorry if that messes with you more than intended. So third tripwire, the 2 more tripwire hooks up here. Again, more blocks. Here's the overhead view of it. And then the overhead view again with MC Edit power. Another string right there. 2 blocks and glass. String, 2 blocks and glass. And then from above, it looks like that. After I finished making this, I sat right here and just stared at my computer and watched them fall, just because I was happy it was working, seeing spiders falling to their death instead of getting stuck. The reason that this is 4 wide instead of 2 wide, is because a spider would actually land when it was pushed on this block. Again, I fixed it with the single mobs where they would cascade down. That's a weird thing right there. So I figured I should include it with the spiders. Now it does decrease efficiency of spawning, but you just heard the 5-tick delay working. And now I do not know why these guys are stuck, but I guess I messed something up. So I'll trigger it though. Again, problem with them spawning. If they have armor on, they don't die. So Endermen can spawn in this. One flaw: when this one retracts, this one's still there, and so for a brief moment, there's a chance that an Enderman can spawn on this because it'll be more than 3 blocks high. I don't think that's a problem. I don't know how I could fix it using this style because it involves making a 3 high area no matter what, because it pulls back and then pushes out. So I can live with the occasional Enderman falling and maybe dying depending on how far of a drop you have. I'm sorry, I just like watching them fall. Anyways, so this is just step 1 of my plan with this mob system. I originally wanted a mob system that had spiders, Endermen, not accidental Endermen, actual Endermen. I know I could do that by just raising it up 3, raising it up 1 more, but most mob farms that you see now involve a trigger and a piston 2 blocks up, or reverse. Involve this. Oops. Right there. The string goes across here and allows pack spawning because it's right there. It's 3 blocks high. I count that as 3 blocks because you can't put something right there. And so I wanted to replicate that so that it wouldn't be a downside to building this mob farm, having it be 1 block higher. But this way can't include spiders, which is what I wanted, the main reason for designing a new mob farm. Goals with this mob farm: if I raised it up 1 block to include Endermen, I want to be able to include a toggle to toggle on and off spiders, Endermen on and off, and I was looking into a way to turn off all other mobs except for spiders, But to do that, I would have to put a block right here, and there's string right there. And I can't do that because I don't want just a spider farm. I want a mob farm that can be turned to whatever I want. And the only way to be able to put a block here would be turning off all mobs permanently. There's probably a double retraction thing I could do, but again, not worth it when I already have spiders working here. I plan on turning this into an experience farm and also a place to get spider eyes, and I'm gonna work on a sorting system to separate spiders, zombies, skeletons, and creepers, potentially endermen. I have a plan for adding just a small portion to be enderman spawning without having to raise it above the 3 blocks that I want to keep each spawning level at. And yeah, I want to make it a very controlled mob system with as many different types of mobs as possible. Endermen are the difficult ones. Well, spiders are the impossible one. Endermen are just, they teleport if they touch water, so if I don't want them, I can just send them away. And look at this. Nice resources. How well this works depends on how well you filled in caves, so it's a good idea to, before you blame the system design, fill in all the caves. There are no caves on this map, so there's no 100% of the spawns happen. There are only like up to 10 on when it's working fine spawned in here. If there's a backup, which is rare because of the double piston system over here, it gets fixed pretty decently because usually one of them happens before the other and then it's already within the time. Longest time it would take would be 2 minutes for each mob to despawn. Well, on average 2 minutes, not longest, because it's 1/800 ticks after 30 seconds that a mob can despawn if it's not within 34 blocks. So it could be forever, but I doubt that will happen. If it does, just run 128 blocks that way and it will fix itself. I do have plans to add additional things to this. That's why I left this gap right here. I plan on doing some vertical wiring to add something to the top and add something right here, probably an on-off switch. The side will probably be for toggling Enderman. It took me a really long time to type time set day. But yeah, that's how this farm works. And those 2 spiders were from when it was dark. Let's see the time it took me to say this entire thing. I'm not even gonna get all of them, they're still falling. That is a nice haul, and I'm very happy about the string. So, thank you for watching. If I post another video for additions to this spider farm, and, well, not spider farm, overworld mob farm, please look into them. Thank you again.